there. Happy Wednesday. Glad you could join me here on the recording. So let me know where you're watching from. You can drop that in the chat on the group. If you're watching from the link that you got in the email today, give me a reply back at the end, okay? And give me your little takeaway. I'd love to hear that. You guys all in the group, drop your takeaways as we're going through, participate, answer questions. Throw your comments in the chat. I love to read them. It helps me coach you better when I know what it is you're looking for and what I can help you with. So today we're talking about creating habits that stick, habit stacking. I'm Tanya Gustafson, your nutritionist and fitness coach. Fit Nutrition is my business. And this is for our 8 weeks family and our lifetime member Fit family. Lifetime members, you can find this recording in your portal after today's call. All right, so let's get to it. Everyone, I'm sure, okay, maybe it's just me, but I'm sure we've all done something that, we've tried, we wanted to get started and we wanted to, and it's a little bit of a segue from last week's coaching if you watched on the 1% progress, because I talked a little smidgy bit about this and then we're heading into the whole ball of wax today. But if you've ever been that all-in person, right, and you just wanted to get her done and you're diving in and you have all these great new things you want to implement into your life and for your health, or even like for anything in life, really, your health, your business, your relationship, your workout, whatever it is, right? Whatever. And you think, yeah, that's a great healthy habit. And I should really do that. Okay. I should read more. I should get out and move more. I should drink more water. I should remember to eat my breakfast. I should, right? I should. And if those things aren't getting done and you keep going, oh, I should have done that. I should have. You're shoulding all over yourself, and that's not good. So we want to make it so that we can create those habits, put them in, keep them without you having to should all over yourself. Okay. All right. So stick with me. Here we go. So we know that if you follow Dr. Caroline Leaf, you would know, or if you listened to a few of my talkings about mindset and things, that habits, excuse me, the habits that we have currently, or any ones that you're going to create, habits create patterns. Patterns create brain grooves. Now, brain grooves are, I'm going to liken it to you're pushing a wheelbarrow or pulling a wagon or something through, back and forth over the same stretch of ground. And the ground gets a little soft because it rained. So you make a little track in the ground as you're going back and forth, right? Going back and forth, back and forth. Now, as the sun comes out and it hardens that ground, and now you've got this groove in the middle, right? You got that little track there. So your wheelbarrow fits nicely in there. It's pretty easy and you're going down the same track anyway. So it's just going to keep you, on track, right? Because it's harder to lift it out of the groove. You have to lift it. There's effort required. Whereas if you stay there, it's pretty easy to just keep tootling along, right? Keeps you in there. Okay. Those are our daily habits. We've created, habits in our daily lives that you probably don't even think are habits. And those have created patterns and those have created brain grooves, which makes it super easy to do the things that we do every day naturally, what seem like naturally, right? And without even thinking. So, we all brush our teeth every day. You probably do it in the same order as every single day, close to the same time every day. As you're driving to work, anyone ever driven to work and then thought, oh my gosh, I don't really remember how I got here because you were maybe a little preoccupied? Brain grooves. Your body was just so used to going the same way in the same mannerisms every day that it just did that for you. And you didn't really have to think too much about it. Just like, I've been going to the gym for years in the morning, first thing in the morning. I love that. Now, if you maybe somehow had a shift in your life and you used to work out in the evening and now maybe your work schedule changed or your kids are, at that age, you want to be there at home in the evening or whatever it is. And you decided, okay, I'm going to switch my workout to the morning. I'm going to do that. I still have the same number of hours in the day. I still have the same time. I can do that. How do you make sure that you actually do that? Right? Because it's not a brain groove. The brain groove was for you to do it in the evening, right? So it's super easy for you to just stay on that path. And then, you get to the end of work and you're just like, oh, I should be going to the gym. Oh, shoot. No, I'm heading home now. Oh my gosh, I didn't even get to the gym this morning. What happened? Right? So we have all these great intentions, and that's okay. We need those intentions, right? It gets us thinking about what we're going to do. But how do we make it actually stick? Or maybe, you dove in, you got your gym bag and you put it by the door and you got everything ready first thing in the morning so you can take it, you have your shower before work and everything. And off you go, you get to the gym and you do that. Day 1 is good, day 2 is good, day 3. And then, you do it for a week or so, and then something happens in the morning, you end up checking your phone and checking some emails before, because I've got like 10 minutes. I'm just going to do that. And you end up on there for like an hour, fixing up, things from work, sending emails, answering messages. And then all of a sudden you go, oh shoot, I don't have time now. There's no time. I have to get to work. And now I'm not doing it in the evening. So, oh my gosh, today just went down the toilet. And then, similar things can happen and you'll be less likely to actually go to the gym in the morning. Now, the gym is just an example. I was just using that as an example, but this applies to everything in our lives because that gym brain groove for first thing in the morning has not been made yet. Okay. And so you're at that point where your wheelbarrow's in the currently made track, right? You're on the track for afternoon or evening workout, whatever it was. And now you have to lift the wheelbarrow out of the track and then start pushing it again on the ground that's now kind of, mushy and whatever. It's hard to push it through there because you had this nice track formed. It was so super easy and you'd gone over it so many times. It was nice and smooth. And now you've got bumps and rocks and things. And oh my gosh, I got too close to that edge and oof, there goes my wagon back into the brain groove that I was before, which is right exactly what happened when you go to the email and start checking your email and you miss the day at the gym, right? You fell back into the track that, had been made over the years. So you got to haul it back out again, right? Okay. So in order to make those things stick and to keep your wheelbarrow out, because what happens is when your wheelbarrow's out, now you're going to start pushing it along and you're going to go, the ground is still kind of the same, but you're going in a bit of a different direction. So you don't have that nice track to guide you. You have to create a track. There is no track there yet. That's the key phrase, yet. So now you're pushing and pushing and pushing back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And pretty soon it rains and the ground gets a bit softer. So your wheelbarrow sinks in as you're pushing it. You're like, oh, okay. Okay. And then I pushed it through the soft stuff. I made a track. Now I'm coming back through. It's like, oh, heck, that was a little easier. I have a track to follow now. Oh, back and forth a few times. Oh, that's great. Now the sun comes out. Now the sun dries that track, makes it nice and hard like concrete. And your wheelbarrow wheel is in that new track. And it's really hard to get it out now. Just like it was hard to get it out of the other one, now it's hard to get it out of this one. And back and forth you go, and you've created that new habit has created the patterns, the track, right? That created the brain grooves that you're stuck in now. So it's harder for you to come out. Okay, so I hope that gave you a really good visual. I really should have a slide on that or something that's showing that. But anyway, I hope you get the idea, right? You think if you're tracking with that, say down below, brain grooves, right? Drop your wagon or your brain grooves down below. So once you've done that, now you've created the new track. But how do we get ourselves to push the wheelbarrow back and forth enough times until it actually rains to make the ground soft to make the new groove? That's what we're going to talk about today, okay? Because, okay, we understand the analogy. We understand that we need to do it long enough in order to make the brain groove. But how the heck do I do that and make it stick so I can do it long enough to create the brain groove? Habit stacking. All right, you heard me mention at the beginning, habit stacking. So we all have those habits from those original brain grooves, right? We talked about. So like you're brushing your teeth in the morning and you drive to work at the same time every morning. You drop your kids off at the same school every morning. You probably make dinner at the same time every morning. Or dinner at when you come home from work, unless you prep in the morning. Sometimes I do that. And you probably have your lunch break at the same time every day or thereabouts at work, right? And then you maybe have some weekend brain grooves where you like mow the lawn every Saturday, or you go to the farmer's market when it's that season. And you have these things that you normally do all the time that maybe, you go to church on Sunday, or maybe you have a ladies group or a men's group that you attend, or whatever it is. Maybe your kids have sports at a certain day, a certain time, and they've always done that. And so these are things that you don't even really have to think about. You never have to put them in your calendar because they're there, right? Now, if your kid tries a new sport, you have to, oh my gosh, it's changing everything and going backwards. And so then you have to now put things, you have to put things in your calendar because it's like, oh my gosh. And that's a strategy too. But for today, and that helps as well too. And that's one of the strategies we're going to talk about today. But the big thing you need to remember is that habit stacking means that you take the new habits that you want to start using and pair them next to an existing habit that you don't even have to think about. Those ones you don't have to write in your calendar. Okay. And when you do that, it tags into that brain groove that you've already created, and it helps to make one for that new habit that you're creating. It helps to widen that little space there so that you have room for both habits in the same track. Okay, does that make sense? Are you tracking? If you're tracking, write it down below. Say, I'm tracking. Okay, so what are some habits? I would love, as you're watching, to throw in the chat what your habits are. So here are some of my habits. I don't even have to write them down, like they're just automatic. I do them. I've been doing them for years. When I get up in the morning, I don't set my alarm. I get up anywhere, between 10 to 5, 10 after 5. It's just usually when I wake up. And I go and I brush my teeth. I put my gym clothes on. I get ready. I do this thing called melting. I have this little melty ball I do with my hands and feet. Then I go and I make my shake. And I get my Bible, my devotional book, and whatever regular book that I happen to be reading. I have a little stack of books. And I take my shake and I cozy up on the couch with my blankie and my little puppy, and I have my stack of books and I go through, and then I do my prayers. I remember, you notice I didn't even say I opened my phone at all at this time, so that's a whole other topic. But that is one of my habits, that I do not open my phone for at least an hour after I wake up. Because I know that if I get in there and start answering emails or checking messages or checking social media, that it will just suck down my morning time. And that morning time is super important to me, because when you win the morning, you win the day. We've talked about this, and I love that. So yes. So that's what I do. And then I do my prayers, and then I grab my gym bag, and then I'm off to the gym. And that takes about the same amount of time every day. So I get to the gym about the same time every day, within 10, 20 minutes either side, right? Every time. And then I do my workout for about the same amount of time, because I know what time I have to be home for my first meeting. And when I get home, what's the first thing I do? I feed my puppy, and I grab my second breakfast, because I had my shake, and now it's time for me to actually to eat, because I to refuel after my workout. And then we go for a walk. I take my puppy for a walk. And then I come back and I shower, I get changed, and I hop on my meeting. And that is how my morning starts. I don't have to have any of this in my calendar, because it's just there. It's just something I do all the time, right? And so what I want for you is to have that with when you're starting to create new habits. And as we're starting on our health journey, there's a whole bunch of new habits. And so tagging on to last week, you're going to do 1%. You're not going to try and do them all today, okay? We're going to do one. Pick one and see where you can pair it. So think about, all the things, right? So let's go back to this. Seeing as we're using the gym thing, let's just do like something to do with a workout or daily movement. If you don't do the gym, that's fine. Whatever gets you moving, we'll talk about that. So thinking about, okay, what time of day do I have, a slot of, if you're just starting out, maybe it's only 10 minutes. Maybe you really think, no, I need to get back to like half an hour or an hour, whatever it is that you want. Take a look at your calendar and say, when can I slot this in, so that I'm most likely able to be, continuous with this. Okay, so you're gonna find a spot. Now, if it's different every day, I'm not gonna lie, that will make it a little bit more difficult. However, it still can be done, okay? So maybe you don't, maybe you're aiming for 3 days a week at first. That's great. Okay, so take a look, whatever it is, you take a look at your calendar and see where you can plug it in. Ideally, it would be the same time every day because that's easier to create a habit. But again, if you can't, that's okay. The same principle applies, whether it's the same day or same time every day, or whether it has to vary. All right, you still want to pair it with a habit that you're currently doing that you don't have to think about. So now you've chosen the time. What else is in your schedule around that time? Now remember, those things that you normally naturally do just automatic every day, they're probably not going to be in your calendar. Just, truthfully, they're probably not going to be. So take a big think here. What do I normally do in this time? And something that's, habitual. So maybe if it's driving to where you're thinking, okay, I'd really like to work out in the morning. Okay, well, I get up, I, feed the dog and I get breakfast for the kids or I, get breakfast for hubby or whatever. And, maybe I check the news and do some stuff and then I head off to work. Okay, well, what could we, when you're checking the news, maybe you could, if you had a treadmill, you could get on, or one of those little standing things, you could actually, because I know a lot of people have treadmills that are in their house, but they don't use them. So that's why I'm using this example. It's more like a clothes rack at this point. If that's you, don't worry, no judgment. But you could say, okay, well, instead of checking, sitting on the couch checking the news, I'm going to get on my treadmill and I'm going to walk for the amount of time that I'm checking the news. I can put my phone right there, or I can put my iPad right there. I'll set it and I'm going to start walking on the treadmill and I can read the news as I'm walking. Okay, that works really good. Maybe you like to, listen or read some special devotionals or listen to some things in the morning. Okay, again, well, you could pair that with taking the dog for a walk in the morning. If that's something you do every day, or if that's something that you want to do every day is, oh my gosh, I really have to start getting the dog out and I could use that, movement in the morning too. Okay. So again, if you're reading devotionals or checking things like that online or listening to something, listening to music, whatever it is, you could then listen while you walk, right? And pair that together. So now it's like, okay, I'm going to put my headphones in, I'm going to turn this on, and I'm going to directly go get my shoes and the dog's leash. And so you might have to put that dog leash on the counter or on the, right where you'll see it first thing in the morning to trigger that, to get you started. But pretty soon it would be an automatic habit. Same with if you were going to commit to, okay, I'm going to check the news before I head off to work, or maybe you check your emails before you go into work. I'm going to do that on my treadmill. Okay, well, whatever device you do that on, take that device and put it on the treadmill so that when you go to get it in the morning, you're like, oh shoot, where is it? Oh, it's on my treadmill. That's right. Then you'll grab your runners and you'll go with it and you'll start creating that habit. Now, is that making sense? I hope if that's making sense, drop sense below. Okay, say I got it. So that's what you need to do, is take a look and see what you're normally doing during those times that you want to implement something new, and then pair it together. So if let's try one more thing. How about eating breakfast? So maybe breakfast isn't your thing, or you've been skipping, but you know that you really should have something because you've been following along for a while, and you know that if you wait longer than an hour, your blood sugar drops and your body's burning muscle, and you don't want that, and you want to head into the day properly fueled, right? So how can you fit breakfast in with something you're normally doing? Well, if you have kids and you're making breakfast for them, I suggest maybe getting up just a couple minutes earlier so that you're not just doing all the things while they're sitting and eating. You've already done the things so that you can sit down with them and then you will eat. And if you don't have kids, if that's not a thing, if no one's sitting at the table in the morning, then you got to think, okay, well, normally what do? I grab my coffee before I leave and I run out the door. I grab my teacup or whatever and I leave and I run out the door. Okay, well then maybe Oh, here we go. I'm going to put my shaker cup next to my coffee pot. Because if you listened to last week's call as well too, you'll also hear my little blurb about coffee on an empty stomach spikes your blood sugar, wreaks havoc with your cortisol, and helps your body to actually store fat when it's on an empty stomach. So we don't want to do that. You want to like flip the switch here, have your protein shake or have real food before you have the coffee, or at least with the coffee. Okay, so if you now make your coffee religiously every morning, then take that protein powder and your shaker cup and stick it right next to the coffee pot, so that when you plug in your coffee pot, you can now make your shake. You've got your to-go mug of coffee and you've got your shake to go. You're gonna, if that stays warm in your to-go cup, right? You're gonna take your shake, drink that on the way to work, and you have your coffee for when you hit your desk. So now you've added, it didn't really take you any more time in your day. You've really maximized your time because now you're properly fueled. So you're going to be better able to focus and attend. You're going to be more productive because your stomach's not growling. And if your stomach wasn't growling before, because that's what people will tell me, well, I wasn't hungry anyway. My tummy doesn't tell me. It doesn't tell you because you've been ignoring it for so long, it shuts it off. Just saying. Your body knows that, hey, she's not dying or he's not dying. So meh, not going to tell them. They're not listening to me anyway. So that's not a thing to go, oh, well, I'm not hungry anyway. No, it's your body just not responding properly because you've ignored it for too long. It will still create inflammation and stress in your body because your body's now fighting to find its own food source to send to the brain, right? We talked about that. So putting that protein shake together with your coffee, having them both set up to go, out you go with the door. It took you an extra maybe a minute and a half, if that, and you have proper fuel and you still get your coffee and everybody's happy, including your body, right? So those are just a couple examples of how you can habit stack. And the the better you can match a new habit with something that's a long-term, something I've done every single day for the rest of my life, kind of, or for the first part of my life, then the easier it's going to be to make it stick, right? But take a look if it's something that requires a little bit more time, like a workout or like a project or something like that. Take a look and see in your calendar when it's realistic to implement that. Because if it's not going to be realistic, and you could try pairing it with an existing habit, but if there's physically not enough time, or you're physically too crunched, or you're not in the right even geographical area, and then it's going to take you half the time to get across town to get where you need to be to do whatever it was you want to do, it's not going to be feasible, and it just won't last because you won't be able to make those habits mesh together and share the track. Okay, so I hope that's helped you today. Habit stacking, it pairs off of the 1%. If you've got big goals, big dreams, all those kinds of things that you want to have with your health, with your weight, with all those 6 plates that we talk about frequently, one of them, pick one, like the 1% that we talked about last week. Just pick one. And once you get that habit locked in and you've made a brain groove for that one, you'll know because it's automatic. And then go ahead and add another one. And that is how you up-level your health. That is how you keep moving forward. You get from feeling so-so to fine, from fine to great, from great to optimal, from optimal to, oh my gosh, I'm amazing. And that's how we keep going, because health is an evolutional journey. We always keep evolving and learning. And in my opinion, we should always keep trying to do better for our health today. Do something better today than you did yesterday. Okay? You've got this. I'd love to hear how it works for you. So drop some comments below of what you're going to try, and what habit that you're going to implement, a new one, and what you're going to pair it with. I'd love to see what you guys choose. All right, have a great Wednesday. I'll be back live again next week.